I am hoping that you guys find me because we had a crash. So I've got to find. Hopefully this will work because oh my goodness. Okay, did it actually go back where it was supposed to go? I think so. Well, we'll see if the chat starts to fill up, if it worked. And I don't know what happened because I couldn't read the little box that came up saying what went wrong to know what went wrong, and hopefully it won't go wrong again. So I'm going to move quickly so we don't have a problem. And hi Karen, hi Christina, thanks for being patient. They have this new service with this company that's like $100 more a month to do my show. And I'm sure they would really like me to buy it. But part of that package is you never go down completely. And starting to feel like they have our feed drop just so that we'll buy it. But it has given me a little bit more time to think this through. And I'm basically making a big giant circle. So gluing it the way I had it would have been fine. So I'm going to glue it again and give it a go. And I'm trying not to let this bother me that it dropped. Once again, I'm applying a zigzag section of the liquid base, slide my finger over it and position it on the fur. I still feel like I'm not seeing this the way I need to be seeing it. Funny how just having the fur get on my face makes my brain not function right. I want this part to be two-sided in a tube, and then the ends be covered. There are people right outside the door talking. I have new neighbors right next door, and this is the first time I've heard them. There we go. Hi, Linda. Thanks for being so understanding, you guys. I think I'm right in what I'm doing. Can anyone give me a thumbs up? Say, yeah, you're right. I just need to make I'm going to basically sew all the way around. Talking out loud helps me figure things out. And then once I turn it right side out, I'm going to take the fur and bring them together and do a stitch across, and that will separate it. Thanks, Karen. I needed that. A little emotional support. Hey, if you have the fur and it gets to you, what works to get it off your face is tissue. It worked great. Good to know, right? All right, what can I ask you guys? Are any of you taking a holiday vacation this year? You're going to go anywhere special for Christmas? I know I'm way ahead of schedule. But it is a scarf, and it's making me think of Christmas. Okay. I should have the top camera be a little bit wider. We'll see if you can see better. Okay. Got right sides together. Make sure that it doesn't twist. And before I do the side seams, I'm going to sew the fur to this t-shirt material. I need to restart the chat. Oops. It's easier to glue on this fabric than on the fur. Can you guys tell me where you got your notification about today's show? Did you get it from YouTube, or did you get it from the school? Or are you just always on it too, waiting for me to start? I'd love to know. Pearls and Piping foot is not the foot I usually use to sew accurate seam allowances, but on furry and fluffy fabrics, terry cloth and sweaters, it is the ideal foot. So I'm going to attach it to the sewing machine, and if you don't know, the Creative Feet do fit all machines. Even if your feet don't snap on and off, we have adapters that snap on and off of the foot. Hello, Mary from Boston, Massachusetts. Welcome. I'm glad you just found us. I'm having an attack of the fur issue today. Okay. If you have a Bernina sewing machine, you can use an adapter like this and attach our shortest adapter onto it, and then attach it to our foot, and now you have what you need to put this on your Bernina sewing machine. You can also do the same thing with the FOF. Use the shortest adapter, remove your machine's snap-on adapter, replace it with ours, slide it up underneath your screw, and now you can use our foot. And I am the original inventor of the Pearls and Piping foot. The foot also has a little slider. Where'd my other thing go? Oops. Hello, everyone. Say a prayer that we don't lose our connection again. Here we go. Close. Here we go. So I have this one all written on. This was I have no idea why this is painted. But you could paint your Pearls and Piping foot with glow-in-the-dark paint, nail polish, which comes around during the Halloween season. And so if you ever drop this on the ground and it bounces somewhere, you turn off the light and it will glow in the dark. A lot of people lose this foot. I'm digging through my little goodie basket here. And I can't even remember why I'm looking in there. Oh, I was trying to find a regular... You would think I would have pearls and piping foot just sitting here. What is going on? I lost my foot. First I lost my yarn, and now I've lost my foot. No, in between I lost my mind because of the fur. And I know I just had a pearls and piping foot in my hand. But the reason I brought up the painting on your foot with the clear glow-in-the-dark nail polish is because I drop it a lot. So I dropped it. And I didn't expect to pull out a purple painted foot. I have no idea what I did and why I did that. So here's the little washer on the foot. It's on the snap-on bar, and you can slide it left and right. So if you can't get your needle to go far enough over to the left-hand side by using your needle positions, then you can slide the washer over and it will move the fabric over. And if I select a left needle position, that moves the needle all the way over, as far over to the right. I mean to the left. Goodness. You know what this reminds me of? Kayaking last night. I was teaching my friend which paddle to use when you want to move the boat. So you use the left paddle when you want to go right, and you use the right paddle when you want to go left. And it's similar to that here. If you couldn't get your needle far enough over, you would take the foot off and put the washer on the right to move your needle further left. It's good to know how you guys are finding me. I'm wondering if you guys are getting the messages from the school as well. Another thing that helps you sew thick fabrics is using a longer stitch length. But if you go too long, you can actually cause things to gather. So this fur is actually going up and getting locked in the tunnel. And since it's glued, I can kind of all let go. I can play around and see if it'll go all the way. My hands over here. Okay, so I'm going to move it a little bit because I just don't want to have to rip anything out, especially not from fur. But I don't think I needed to. I think it would have just kept it right there. And this is what I'll be doing is bringing, but not yet. I'm definitely right now. Yay, my brain's working again. So now I'm going to sew with the t-shirt fabric up and see how it behaves to help you know which one is better to have on the top. And definitely the fur on the top works best. Hi Madeline, I'm so sorry. I can't wait until all these issues never happen anymore. If it'll ever happen, that it never happens. I could spend another $1,200 a year, apparently, to never have it ever go down. Feels like bribery or extortion. You may be wondering why I'm not using my scissors button, and that's because frequently it cuts the thread too short. So whenever I am sewing something and I'm a little bit frustrated by any reason, for any reason at all, I don't use the scissor button, because the thread gets cut too short and it comes out of the needle, and it doesn't always, the bobbin thread doesn't always come up, and it's just another frustration. So one finger guiding, not pulling or pushing the fabric through. You have an alarm on your phone. You're so efficient, Amy. I'm currently using a 9014 super non-stick needle, which is listed. Oh no, the chat just went down. Why? Oh, it's back. I'm gonna hurry up. Oh my gosh, this fur. You guys still there? If you are, give me a thumbs up. By the time I'm done, I'm not going to have any makeup on because I keep having to wipe the furry floaters off my face. And I cannot stop from touching it or dealing with it. All right, so I'm thinking this through. Now I need to go all the way around. Got some in my eye. Do you guys feel sorry for me? You know what I'm going to do is I'm going to sew the two ends with the pearls and piping foot, and then I'm going to switch to the satinage foot for the t-shirt material. And hopefully whatever's in my eye will come out offset as I sew for you. There we go. I'm doing this right? I think so. I've lost my mind. And I was going to show you how to match plaids, and it's basically because of the glue that you can line up a plaid with another plaid. And once you glue it and it dries, they become one, so that you don't have that shift that you can have from time to time. Keep that in mind, as I'm afraid that we're going to lose another connection. I don't know if it's because they're doing stuff out there or not. The pearls and piping foot is not the foot that I usually use for t-shirt. However, I am using the side of the foot to guide the distance. So I'm going to just go ahead and give it a shot and see how it goes. And I also am going to test to see if I need the glue. So I've got them held together right here, and I'm lifting up the fabric, not holding down and not ever pulling with stretch fabric. Now it's definitely going to shift, so getting my liquid based out. But this time I don't have to do a zigzag pattern. I can just do some dots down. Slide my finger, put it together. I think I'm going to love this scarf. And now I'm looking at the side of the pearls and piping foot. And I normally would use a zigzag stitch for seams, but this isn't going to be stretched over my body, you know, it's just going to hang over my neck. So I don't think I have to worry about the thread breaking. If you're the type of person that ties your scarves in knots and pulls on them a lot, then using a zigzag stitch that's got a very small width on it and I will show you what it looks like. If you have a stitch like this on your machine where it goes up and down, so instead of a zigzag left and right, it's at an angle going up and down, and it ends up looking like a straight stitch. The distance between the two zigzags on the side of your garment will look just like a straight stitch. But you have the zigzag stitch, so when the fabric stretches, those stitches are able to expand and your thread won't break. They designed this stitch years ago, right after they designed stretch stitches, because when they designed stretch stitches, they were thinking, we need to make a really strong stitch that can't break. But what ended up happening was, it was like kneading dough. The fabric was going forward, back, and it was causing the fabric to stretch out underneath the feed dogs, or underneath the presser foot with the feed dogs. So then they went, okay, so let's give it less of, let's give the fabric or the stitch more flexibility, and that's what they came up with, and it is fabulous. If you have like a pair of leggings and one of the seams breaks open, you can just use that stitch, and even if you don't have an overlock stitch, it will hold up against you taking off and putting on those leggings. You'll have the pumpkin. I hand painted that. That was one of the Fabrically Speaking Live episodes from last season. So if you're not familiar with how to find things on my YouTube channel, you go to the playlists and then click on Fabrically Speaking Live. My thread got caught on this bobbin winder again. I forgot to put it through my little clip-it clip that I put up there, and it got caught because they thought it was a good idea to have a cutter on your bobbin winder, and I think it's the worst thing they ever came up with. Drives me nuts. Do any of you find it frustrating that your thread, does your thread ever get caught on it? Or do you think I'm crazy that it is great to have a cutter right there? I'm fine with you picking on me and saying I need to understand how wonderful it is. Alright, I gotta rethread. So the pumpkin, I actually hand painted. It is a pattern inside of the school. If you don't know what the school is, at the top of the chat it says learn, or you can go to createwithclairerowley.com. And I'm really excited because my Claire Rowley site is about to open, or it's already open, but everything isn't on there yet. So you'll be able to go to clairerowley.com and everything I do will be in there. My writing, my voiceover artist work, copywriting that I'll be doing and offering, Creative Feet, and the school. You'll be able to go there and click on any link and find your way to all that makes up me. Super exciting. And my art in there as well, so you can order paintings or my art on different things. So I've been wanting it ever since the internet began. So this just happened this week and I'm over the moon excited about it. Gotta make sure I leave a space. So I'm gonna mark over here, and I don't want it to be where it's gonna show up. So I'm going to kind of move it up a little bit, just in case I don't do a perfect job. And draw a couple lines to not forget. Make it real obvious to myself. So liquid-based glue not only holds the fabrics together, but it also prevents the fabric from stretching. Which is why you can actually use your sewing machine like a serger without having the fabric stretch out of shape. You should, however, wait for this to dry. And what you're seeing on my finger is the fur stuck to the glue. That's how much fur is in the air. I need to vacuum after this. It's a very light touch, more of a hold it up, support it. And the thread I'm using is the Invisifil thread. It is the 100 weight thread. Why am I choosing the Invisifil thread? Because I was thinking I was going to do something with a sweater before, and it disappears in whatever you're making. So like invisible thread, but it has color, and it feels like regular thread. There's a lot of times I choose Invisifil over a heavier thread, and that is one of them. I'm going to go ahead and sew a little bit with the zigzaggy stitch for you, so that, let's see if I can kind of remember how far up I did it. So we're about 2 feet up, because it takes longer to sew it. So I have that stitch on. The problem is now my seam allowance is further over, so now I have to guide over here, leave a little space. So much easier to use the side of the foot as a guide. I think I can show you without having to remember. So see how that stitch looks compared to a straight stitch, which doesn't stretch, and this does stretch. That's it on the inside, and this is how it looks when you open it up. And this is where you can't tell where the two are. I didn't line up my plaids well, which I would have taken more time on if I weren't going absolutely crazy from this fur. And also remember, I said this is printed plaid, so it's not consistent. So be nice to yourself if you buy printed plaid, if your seams aren't lining up. And I'm going to go back to the straight stitch because it's faster. And as I said before, the only reason to use a stretchier stitch is if you're going to stretch the fabric. And since it's not going to stretch over my body, I don't have to worry about it. They're not lining up, but it's not because it's slipping. It's because the print, when it was printed on the fabric, it's just not consistent or perfect. So it's going to be so pretty. I'm not sure which one of you told me to put the fur on the ends, but thank you for suggesting that. I'm super excited now. I was trying to think of how I could do it, how I could combine these cute, and I was at a loss. I also think it would be cool to have like a fur strip going down the center, but I may not sew fur for another year after this. Oh yeah, definitely have to do the tissue again. So it's just flying around in the air. And like batting does to me, I must have a high level of static cling for things to come at me. Does that happen to you guys? Do any of you like attract thread? I'll have my finger and the thread will actually come off of the spool and come and touch me before I touch it. Are you like that? Are you magnetic? Here we go. So a lot of people have said, well, I don't like having to wait while I put glue on. So you can see I don't always glue first the entire thing. I just glue as I go. And even though it's not dry, it holds well enough. If I were sewing something more complex, like piping into a pillow, I would wait for the glue to dry. This is enough of a connection when it's wet to keep it from shifting so that I can sew. So you can do just little dots. That represents a pin, a pin, a pin. And pins actually do damage your fabric because they cut through fibers instead of going between fibers. So having this glue on there also protects your fabric from the damage a pin would have done. Oh, aren't you sweet, Judy? Oh, here we are at the fur again. No whining. Oh, I'm so whiny. Now when I work with thick fabrics like this, I put one seam allowance going that way and the other seam allowance going this way. That way you don't have as much bulk. As I come up on this thick fabric, I'm going to lift and make sure it's going under. And to help it get up, take a pack of needles and slide it beneath the foot on the back side. It's the perfect height for this. And then know that this pack of needles is going to get shot out the back. So I usually put my hand back there ready to catch it. Lift again. Oh my goodness. All the support from my angels right now to cope with this tickly feeling. Okay, now I go back around the other side. This time I'm starting on the fabric instead of coming off and then trying to get up. As I always do that when I have a thick fabric, starting on the end. Not pushing the fabric. It may look like it, but I'm not. And even though it's only a 9014 needle, this is a stretch material for the fur, so it's not like real fur, which would have really had a hard time going over all that thickness there. I'm going to try no glue right now. And it is something to note about the Creative Feet, the type of material used for my feet. It's a trade secret combination of materials that makes it slippery. So the Creative Feet are less likely to spread your fabric while you're sewing. I've never wanted to end the show more than I do today. Not because of you guys. Oh my goodness. Definitely easier to sew with it glued, but it is still possible without it. Coming up on the opening area. Oh my gosh. This could be used as a torture. You ever need to get the truth out of somebody? Threaten them with the fur on their face. Coming up on the mark I made, I'm going to go up to it, go back, forward, back again, cut the thread. Oh my gosh. Sorry for being so whiny, you guys. Yep, my nose is really red. Oh well. Get to see the real me in a frustrated state. Coming up. Oh yeah, I gotta turn it all right back out again too, which will make me have to touch the fur some more. Yes, pearls and piping foot worked really well to go all the way around. And I didn't have to think about changing my seam allowance, you know, just kept the side of the foot along the edge. This has an actual coating of the fur on it. I don't know if it's because my fur is really old and you might not have such a rough time with yours. So I bought this a long time ago. Come a long way with the Minky fabric line. And if you're not familiar with Minky, it's these fake furs and they're lovely. The machine will sew them really well. It's just the cutting that's the dealing with the fur breaking off of the material. So I need this one to flip that way and this one to flip that way and make sure my seam allowances are in line. What am I going to do now to get over the bump? Lift. And I usually put the needle down before I do that because I have no idea where my needle's going to come down right now. So I could have my needle come down on that. This is kind of like when you do a quilt and they say nest your seams. So we do need to nest our seam. Get back here and lower the needle. With the needle slightly in the fabric, then you put the packet needles behind it and set the foot down. Then you know your needle's not going to come down on the foot. It's going to pop out again. I'm starting to feel the effects of the smoke up here. It's not a fire, it's not an out of control fire, it's just a controlled burn. It's supposed to be out today, I think. Time to turn it all inside out. If only I had a face mask or maybe a hazmat suit. I'm not selling this fur, am I, right now? All right, reach in and grab the fur. Pull it out. One nice thing is it doesn't lose its fur anymore. So you can pet this all day long and you're not going to get it on you. It's the fact that I cut it that made that release of fur go into the air. Which one of you had the idea to do this? Put your name, say it was me, so I can thank you again. All right. Now I can hand sew that, or not. Of course I don't know. You might be the kind of person that would wear plaids with all of this other stuff, but it's perfect length for me. Longer than the sewing machine table. I still have one step to do. Yay! I'm excited. All right, I'm going to show you how to handle this because we want these to look better. We want it to have a stitch to anchor it to keep them from looking sloppy. And once again, I'm going to use the Pearls and Piping Foot because it loves to ride over the bump of thick fabric. And you can also pull your corners out while you have the opportunity using a point turner or the Appliquick tools, the rounded end. But right now, I don't even care. I just gotta be done with this thing. There we go. Hi, Susan. Thank you. Glad you guys think it's pretty. So I want to get my needle in the ditch right there, which means I'm going to change my needle position to the right. And if I stay on the fur, no one will know if I am in the ditch all the way. That's a good idea. Thank you for that suggestion, Brenda. It's so worth it, though. What do you think this scarf would have cost in the store? So, see how it's not feeding? I'm going to increase my stitch length to help it pull through. I'm going all the way to 5 on the stitch length. And now I go through. And that's because we have 1, 2, 3, 4 layers of the fur. Oh my goodness. You could also use a walking foot if you have one. I'm trying to keep the fur from getting stuck on the front of the foot. But that 5mm stitch length helped it to go across. And now I'm at the end here and I'm going to give it a little bit extra support. Okay. Yes, or earmuffs would go great with this, huh? Also a hat to go with it. And now that has a real definition there. I gotta hide my face because it's all red from all the rubbing I did. I hope you enjoyed this video. I actually finished a project. You can hand sew that little opening up or do a top stitch or edge stitch along the edge of this as you go around to secure it. And it's definitely too hot to wear this right now. But there we go, a completed project. 2 weeks in a row I finished. I hope you liked this video. If you did, go ahead and hit that like button. If you've yet to subscribe to my channel, I sure hope you'll do so today. And remember, you can go to clairerowley.com now to have a link for everything that I am about, including the school that I keep talking about, which is createwithclairerowley.com, the Creative Feet site with all the products that I invented, and my novel is in there, and my art is starting to be added, so next week it should all be up and good to go. And that was another element that needed to be finished before the Creative Feet Extensive started. So all my to-do lists have been checked, and it is time for me to start that. I love you all, and I hope that we never have that go down again, because it's frustrating when you have to find me again. Thanks for being so patient and figuring out how to find me again. And I will see you next week on Fabrically Speaking Live. Thursdays at 2. Halloween's coming up. My time won't change. Yours will. So always type in what time is it in Arizona to know what time it is your time when it's 2 o'clock my time. Then you'll never miss. Or subscribe to my YouTube channel and they'll just make sure you're always here on time. So love you all. Bye.